Steve Bright.
Thank you, Sir Graham, and I'm delighted that the Henley reveal is not on show today. It's always good to discuss community pharmacy in the House, and in doing so, I declare my entry in the register and, of course, my experience as a former pharmacy minister. The Medicines and Medical Devices Bill has received royal assent, Mr. Brady. This is a good thing. It is an important piece of legislation which I remember at its conception. And the minister is right to say, as she has previously, that it has the patient at its heart. But the bill, and certainly the discussion around it, has also advanced the idea of making what would be pretty fundamental change to community pharmacy through a shift to what we call the hub and spoke model. And this I just want to touch on. The minister is very familiar with the arguments, but for those who are not, what we're talking about is a totally new way of working whereby independent pharmacists have a hub pharmacy that dispenses medicines on a large scale for regular spoke pharmacies that then supply them to the patient. Now, a consultation as far back as 2016 flew this flag, and it was confirmed in the long-term plan of January 2018. We then fast forward to life in the pandemic, and it's true, the combination of rising prescription volumes and reduced patient access to primary care services has put great pressure on community pharmacies to keep up the face-to-face contact that their customers want and need. And boy, have they done that. And I'm so glad ministers have consistently recognised the work of community pharmacists throughout, and I join colleagues in paying tribute to mine. They're a workforce that just get on with it. Now, if you add to the rising volumes and access to primary care services with the government's requirement for greater value from pharmacy, it's clear why many believe a hub and spoke dispensing model is the way forward. On the flip side of the debate, many are understandably worried that centralised dispensing could drive down costs in pharmacy, and unless the pharmacist on your high street then acts as the spoke part, i.e. handing the prescription to the patient, we just end up with a bigger distance selling pharmacy market and a lack of patient contact that then puts opportunities for the wider primary care contact actually out of reach. So put simply, the unintended consequence could be a total stitch-up that leaves community pharmacy as not so much always the bridesmaid, never the bride, as I often heard, but more like jilted at the altar. And I don't want to see that happen. The truth is, like everything else, and especially the growth of distance-selling pharmacies, I think it's somewhere in between. So we can debate the pros and cons all we like, Sir Graham, and I'm really pleased the minister has committed to a full public consultation on hub and spoke to ensure that we get the right model going forward. But let's be clear, it's already happening with the technology embedded in the multiples and the large chains long ago. So I wonder when the minister responds if she could give an indication of when she thinks it's likely her department will bring forward concrete proposals to consult upon hub and spoke. And then more generally in closing, I return to an old theme of mine in respect to community pharmacy, which is whatever the future architecture of the NHS, and obviously the white papers being discussed, it must take its rightful place as part of primary care, or pre-primary care, as I call it. That's why I've always been so positive about the potential primary care networks have for this sector. PCNs are a great chance for community pharmacy, and the new integrated care systems that are set out in the white paper are the chance to bake in primary care in its widest sense to the NHS family. So for me, hub and spoke is a positive opportunity moment for community pharmacy post-COVID, but only if the income and the process of dispensing is replaced in a way that allows this sector to finally realise its potential as part of primary care. Thank you.